This is about you, the baby boomer, what you care about, what you want, what you need to know. This is about your present and your future. This is about your next or new phase of life. This is about reinventing, rewiring, repurposing, redirecting. This is about redefining your retirement. Today's program is Back to School for Boomers. Our expert guest, I'm happy to say, is Ian Jennings, Business and Student Engagement, State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. Ian, it's a pleasure. Thank you for coming out on a hot summer day.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the invitation, Vicki.
And I would very much like our viewers to get to know you as I have as of late. And tell us a little bit about your life and work on the Suncoast.
Well, first of all, I hope you can understand the London accent. Apologies,
beautiful.
You probably need closed captioning, but basically I came down here in December 2014, two reasons. One, obviously the weather. Who doesn't come to Florida for the weather, the winters? But also primarily, I'd worked at a community college in Kansas City, Missouri for 7 years, Metropolitan Community College, in a number of various guises, basically focusing around students and mature students. On my own campus, the average age was 33 upwards. So I worked with more mature students rather than the younger folks. Down here we have 4-year state schools, which are almost sort of a 4-year community college, and that appealed to me. And the job now, business and student engagement, was basically working with all levels of students, helping them to find work, internships, working with employers, working on the college credit side, degrees, certificates, but also on the non-credit side, people that just wanted to maybe learn Spanish or maybe take some classes to get better at accounting or fast books, things like that. So it was the variation that appealed to me. So here I am.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're glad you're here today. So, as you know, Ian, the audience for this program is primarily baby boomers, or those that know and love us.
Yeah.
But we span 2 decades. And so some of us are in our 50s, some of us are in our 60s, and some of us have already hit 70.
Yep.
So that's a pretty large demographic, and I know you serve that demographic at State College of Florida. Tell us a little bit about the typical, if there's such a thing, baby boomer that comes to State College of Florida and is intending to go back to school.
Unfortunately, there isn't a typical person. I wish I could say there was. There isn't. Everybody is different, Vicki. For instance, people come in, it may be a female that's been married and been a homemaker for many years and for whatever reason wants to go back to work, maybe financial needs. It could be a male who's been in the same job for 40 years, lost the job, no confidence, nobody's going to want to employ me. What is a resume? How do I conduct myself in an interview? What's the point in me going back to college? There's other people that want to start their own business, very positive. We run entrepreneurship classes to give them a start with mentors and things like that. So everybody's a bit different. So that what we have to do at the State College and any other college for that matter is to work with them as individuals to find out what their needs are. Some will need to go to college to get maybe a certificate, an industry certification, which is very important to get a job, and maybe even a degree, an associate's degree or Bachelor of Science degree, because we do both at State College of Florida. It could be somebody that just wants to take a few classes. Maybe they want to work for a company that's exporting to Central or South America and they need to learn Spanish. Well, we do conversational Spanish. Or you can go to college and take it as a class and get qualifications in it. So it's really up to the individual. So the point is, and we've got many people there who are experts in working with these people who come in, the biggest thing we have to give them is confidence. If I could say one thing, probably there's an old saying, if you say you can't, you won't. So our job is to say, hey, I'm going to give it a try, not to say I can't.
Well, that's truly remarkable. I'm thinking in terms of the variety of people that you mentioned, and also when we spoke, you mentioned there are a number of veterans that are now coming in. So they do have distinct needs, and there are programs and resources to help them as well. So we'll be getting into some more detail a little bit later, but I'm wondering, when you talk about confidence, that's so critical, what are some of the questions and concerns, okay, that these boomers have? You know, you mentioned what might precipitate them knocking on the door, but what are some of those questions and concerns that you see? The
biggest concern that they have is who will want to employ me because I'm a senior or rapidly heading that way. That is the biggest question. And I can give you an answer to that, if I may, please.
Sure.
Let me go back to the UK, where I'm from. There was a large supermarket company who actually national company, the number one in terms of turnover, number of stores, and they started hiring people, seniors, maybe in their 60s, a little bit older, initially just to collect the carts, bag the goods, just to, give them some cash, things like that.
Right.
Then somebody started doing a survey, and they found out that these people were very reliable, more reliable than the younger folks with respect to them. They turned up. They turned up on time. They were reliable. And when you're running a store, and I've worked at retail supermarket for many years, I know what I'm talking about. You rely on the staff. Without the staff, you don't have a store. So they started getting them more involved. They started making them part-time and then full-time. And they found that this was a wonderful return on their investment. And of course, it hit the papers and it hit publicity. And that is true out here. If you talk to employers about employing people, you can tell them that here is somebody that's a senior, they're going to be very reliable, they're going to turn up, they're going to turn up on time, they're not necessarily going to be job hopping, they've been through that, now they're looking for something that they want to do to enjoy. So if you can go back to the student, the person, and say to them, there is somebody out there who wants to work with you, but what we've got to do is to prepare them.
Very good.
And that's the most important thing.
So then that leads to the one of the several more important questions is, what are the services that State College of Florida offers to? And I prefer to call these people boomers. Now, you do have those that are beyond boomers that may be in this audience. With all due respect, we're going to just call them boomers.
Sounds good
here,
to me.
because it seems like a positive term.
Yeah.
But anyway, talk a little bit, if you would, about the services.
Sure, thank you. That's a great question. So if somebody wants to come and take a college course, as opposed to a non-college, maybe conversational Spanish or something like that, they want to get maybe an industry certification, a regular certificate or a degree. What we need to do is to place them into the right class, and we've got to make sure that they feel confident. So they have what we call a test to make sure that they feel comfortable.
Okay.
Placement test, we call it. Now, boomers, as we're calling them, look upon that as a mountain. High school students who graduate, it's a molehill, because they've been doing that for the last few years. The boomer hasn't been to college, so they've got this fear.
Speaks to confidence.
Yeah, so there's two people that can help them at our college. The Career Resource Centre, which will help you decide what career you want to do, sit you down, work with you, help you plan a resume, give you interview skills, put you in touch with companies. They can help you. And also the Academic Resource Centre that we have on our campuses, that is there to help you with additional tutoring. So if you're like me, somewhat weak on mathematics and algebra, probably like other than 99% of the population, these people are there to help you. So they help you prepare for this placement test, and suddenly that mountain turns into a molehill. So they're here to help them enter into college, because that can be quite an ordeal for some boomers.
So would these be services that would be included to someone who is contemplating going back to school?
Most certainly. Anybody, and anybody, you and I, if we're not students at State College and many other educational establishments, by the way, you can utilise the services of our library. and also our Career Resource Centre. And the Academic Resource Centre, who helps you with extra tuition, would only be too happy to talk to you about what they can offer you going forward. So those areas are very, very important for people. It sets them on the right track, it tells them how they're going to meet their goals, and it prepares them for the job interview. Soft skills are a very, very important part of getting a job.
So I would not necessarily have to be a currently enrolled student to avail myself of any or all of these resources?
That is correct, yes.
I wonder how many people know that.
Not enough, probably. We do shout from the rooftops, and our Career Resource Centre do a wonderful job reaching out to people. We work with Career Source Suncoast, who most people know about, I'm sure, do a wonderful job helping people get back into work. They tell people who we are, and they can come and talk to our Career Resource Centre. The Academic Resource Centre for additional tutoring is available. They will talk to you, they will bring you in, they say, if you come to college, this is how we're going to help you. So we can prepare them. So this placement test isn't really a test, Vicky. It helps you go into the correct class and makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
And I've been through that myself when I came out here, so I know a lot about that.
You know, that's phenomenal. I think probably one of the services that this particular program and the entire Manatee Educational Television studio provides is information to people to help them connect the dots.
Yes.
And so in this particular case, we've identified in this short conversation already free programs and services at State College of Florida, which is a state-funded institution.
Exactly right.
And you mentioned the Suncoast Career
Source Suncoast.
Source Suncoast, which is a federally funded program. So I think right then and there, if there's anybody out there listening, and this does not fit their needs, they've perhaps been enlightened as to how they might pass this word on to friends and family.
Well, when you think about it, we're funded by the taxpayer. We are there to reach out to the community.
Absolutely.
We are there for the community.
Right.
So we encourage people, if they're unsure about whether college is right for them, come and talk to us. We're non-profit. We're there to work for them and to represent them and to steer them in the right direction. And it could be that they're going to take maybe a couple of non-credit classes, just to take a class, no certificate. That could then lead to a bridge to go into college credit. So the options are vast for them.
Well, that's wonderful. I myself have been working in and out of the community college system through 2 community colleges. And while State College of Florida is now called State College of Florida, I do believe the mission and the role and the scope is still community.
Exactly right.
Community.
Yeah, we're there for the community.
So let's talk then about, because convenience and cost are always important.
Oh, yes.
And let's talk about convenience. Tell us a little bit about your locations, and then also about some of your online programs.
Okay, we've got 3 campuses plus 1. I'll explain what that is. We have the campus at Bradenton, we have a campus at Lakewood Ranch, and we have a campus in South Venice. We have a 4th campus, which we call our online campus. As I'm sure you know, Vicky, more and more people are taking courses online. The majority of the general education and other classes that we do are either fully online or what we call blended. That is, you do some at home online, some you have to come into the class. There's other programs where you have to attend college because of laboratories, shops, things like that. So it varies, but more and more people are going online, and we're ready for that. We're really up to date and up to speed on helping them do that. They have technical support, they're in contact with faculty, and of course they have to come into the college every now and again for various reasons. Some prefer that, some don't.
Absolutely.
Some people like the camaraderie, like you and I today, as opposed to having a video link. Some don't. Some prefer to work from home. Some have to work from home. They've got kids, or they work in the day, so they study at night. So, but the option's there for them.
So there are certainly people with physical constraints.
Yes.
And time constraints. And as long as they have the discipline to be able to work online or through a blended program, it's available more and more and more.
Yes.
And I think that's phenomenal, and that speaks to the needs of our contemporary needs. So now, so we've talked about convenience, and you almost have to say it shouldn't be an issue. You know, you've got physical locations, you have online programs, which is basically 24/7. Let's talk about cost, okay? And let's talk about a concern that, you know, there may be for boomers out there for how can I afford this? Talk to us a little bit about maybe financial aid or funding opportunities or scholarships or any of that would be helpful to know.
Okay, let's just get back to basics,
Sure.
because some viewers may be familiar with the way a college works,
Right.
others won't. If you take an English class
Right.
and you achieve that class in, say, a 16-week semester, you will get what we call 3 credit hours. To get a degree is normally 60 credit hours.
Okay.
So you don't need to be a magician to work out how many classes you
And
need
that would
to
be
take.
an AA degree.
For an Associate of Arts degree.
Right.
We also have Associate of Science degrees. So a credit hour at State College costs just around $103 an hour for in-state tuition. So obviously 3 times that will give you the cost for the semester for one class. It is more if you're out of state, but the majority of our students are in-state.
Right,
The
and that's
bachelor-
tuition. It doesn't count the books or the
that's
lab
right. You
fees
have
or
books
whatever. So
on top
yeah,
of that.
all right, okay.
You have Bachelor of Science programs, and they are around $113, 113 per credit hour, which is very, very good value compared to some of the other establishments around.
Right, other public and certainly private.
As you so rightly say, on top of that, depending upon the program, you've
Right.
got books, you've got sometimes laboratory fees. It
Right.
depends upon the class.
Sure.
I took photography when I came out here early 2000s, and I had lab fees, chemical fees, because we were doing film, which I adore.
Back in the day, right.
Back as well as digital, we did both, so that was
Yeah.
fine. So I had lab fees. So you always have to be prepared for that. But one thing that every student should do, irrespective of age, whatever, is complete the free application for federal student aid,
Right.
for aid, which you won't be surprised to learn is acronymed as the FAFSA.
Right.
That can help you get financial aid, either the Pell Grant, loans, scholarships, GI Bill, government issue bill if you're a veteran, etc., etc. And the Financial Aid Office will help walk you through that. Very, very important. And one of the most underused things in education is scholarships. We have a wonderful body at our college called our foundation. The
Yes.
foundation is there. It raises millions of dollars to help pay for education. Miss Cassandra Holmes is our director, and her and her team do a first-class job. And I encourage everybody watching this, doesn't matter about your financial situation, your age, apply for scholarships.
Sure.
There's all sorts of scholarships out there. Talk to the foundation and talk to the Financial Aid Office, because we're there to try and reduce the cost. And we do have a payment plan. For those that don't want to take on a loan, they may be not eligible for a Pell Grant, you can split the cost in either 3, 4 payments, depending upon when you sign up for the plan throughout the semester. And that's a very, very good thing. Financial Aid will tell you about that too.
Absolutely. And, you know, so that is basically eliminating or certainly mitigating the barrier, the
Yes.
financial barrier.
Oh, sure.
Which to some is a concern.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, let's talk about the 21st century workplace and some of the skills that are needed. This we could write a dissertation on
Yes,
this, right?
that's true.
We have a couple of minutes.
Yes.
It's a tough question
Sure.
for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
but let's talk about that.
Okay, well, the skills that are needed today, and they're well advertised, is mostly in manufacturing. There's a huge skill shortage in blue collar today. And we're very much aware of that. Our Career Resource Centre, we work with Career Source Suncoast and many other bodies in identifying what those skills are. Each of the programs that we have has what we call an advisory board. It's made up of people like you and me, alumni, existing students, maybe trades unions, employers bodies, etc., to come out and look at the program. Is this program that we're offering, maybe in engineering technology or biotechnology, accounting, is it suitable for your employment, sir? Is this the type of person that you would take on? No, I need more of this, I need more of that. Well, tell us what you're looking for, and we can then alter the program accordingly. So that's very important that we keep our programs on track for what employers are looking for. The advisory boards meet regularly 2 or 3 times a year to discuss just that. Because it's ever changing all the time.
Of course.
So we have to adjust our programs accordingly, and that's not as easy as it sounds,
Well,
as my faculty colleagues would tell you.
Sure.
The other area
Because there's
where,
education and then there's training.
Exactly.
And they're not necessarily
no, they're not
the same.
But what we also have to work on, you can have the best points average, as we call it in the industry. You can have the best homework record. You can have the highest degree. If you don't do that interview, if you don't nix the interview, if you don't do the resume, if you don't get the cover letter right when you talk to the employer, then you're not going to get that job. So we train people in what we call soft skills: how to write a resume,
Right.
how to do a cover letter, how to present yourself at the interview. What should I wear? What do I say if they ask me how much an hour do you think you're worth? How do I answer that? Many people have fallen down on that. They're excellent grades at college, got all the certificates in the world. It won't get you the job without those soft skills. That's really important. And once again, our Career Resource Centre make themselves available for
Right.
those students to get that job.
Excellent. You know, just to digress a little bit, but to get back on the topic, I had dinner last night with a young woman who is in a culinary program in Denmark.
Right.
Now, the European system has an apprenticeship program
yeah.
that is very, very old. But, you know, the students come in and they are paid by their employer, and their
Yes.
employer sometimes provides the scholarship money, if you will, for them to go to school. And it's, you know, it's a marriage that starts very, very early. I'm not sure we have the equivalent of that here, but we have an internship program or internship programs. Can you talk a little bit about
Yes,
those?
and there's a bit of confusion sometimes with internships and apprenticeships. So let's just talk about that very
Yeah.
quickly. An apprenticeship, you run a company, it could be a manufacturing plant,
Right.
you take me on, and you say you're on a year's apprenticeship through State College of Florida or whichever educational establishment you want to look at. This is what you're going to do. You're going to work with us for a year, providing you're happy with us, we're happy with you. At the end of the year, God willing, we're going to take you on. So there's nothing guaranteed, but at the end of the day, there's normally a job. Internship's different. First of all, we have to obey the government rules, the Fair Labour Standard Act. So that is to say that if an intern goes to a company, there's not normally a job guaranteed at the end of it. It is for work experience, and if they contribute to the profitability of that organisation, they get paid. If they don't, then they don't get paid. But it is to give them job experience, and what an internship can do is to create a bridge between going to school and getting that job.
Absolutely.
One of the things we do is that we work with employers through the Career Resource Centre, and myself and my colleagues, we reach out to employers, we invite them to come and talk to us to consider taking on interns, which eventually could lead to full-time
Absolutely.
employees.
That's so important.
And we work very carefully with them.
I know you do.
So that's a big part of our life, and we've got some great success stories. We don't have time today.
We don't have time
but we
today,
could share that
but
with you.
suffice to say that the community college has always been very responsive and very flexible in meeting the demands of the workplace, which in fact benefits the students that are enrolled in the programs. So what I'm wondering now is if you can share with us is what are some of those in-demand programs that you have at the community college where you may not even have enough students to fill the demand. You mentioned manufacturing. Are
Very
there
much
others?
so. I mean, that's a national thing.
Sure,
Same
sure.
in my country, in the UK.
Sure.
There's young folks have what I call a negative image of manufacturing. We don't manufacture. We do actually, and believe it or not, the United States is still the largest economy in the world by a significant margin.
And it's very high tech these days.
It is very high tech. So not only is it manufacturing, that's very important. Engineering is another one. And you also, you've got the regular areas like nursing. We have a fantastic Bachelor of Science nursing program.
You always have.
There's always going to be a demand.
Right.
There's this explosion in healthcare. There's more and more people who've got healthcare who didn't have it before. So they're going to need nursing, particularly, you know, and that can appeal to seniors as well. It's not just young folks. I would encourage seniors to consider our nursing program, going into manufacturing. We recently had a tour of one of the largest employers in Sarasota County, and it was a tour of that factory. And a lot of people working in there on that factory were females, and why not? Why
Right.
not? So we encourage all genders. We work very carefully with employers, with other bodies to say, what are you looking for? What can we do to help you? Then we reach out to these people and say, if you're coming to college, you need to know I just don't want to take this program. What's at the end of it? What are the jobs out there? What is the pay? What is the job demand?
Absolutely.
And we can work on them with that.
Okay, so one final question before we have to wrap it up, and I hate this because it's a wonderful and enlightening conversation,
Sure.
Ian. But what about the baby boomer that says, okay, been there, done that. What I really want is I want to pursue a lifelong interest. I want to pursue a lifelong passion. I don't need the credit. I want to be engaged. I want to be enlightened. I want to be enriched.
Well, that's a very interesting question, because we do get that from a lot of people. And the biggest issue they've got is they've got this fantastic resume up here, then they're going for maybe a job that could be down there. And the employer thinks, well, why are they doing that? Employers need to understand that people have got passion. Which is what you mean. People come in and they've got passion. A lady came in recently. She wanted to become an author. It was we ran a very successful over 50s program for the last 3 years. It finished last October, and she'd been a mum. She'd been working mum. She's done this and that, but her passion was writing. And she wanted to do that. So she's actually taken some English classes now, and her passion is to become an author. And why not? With the internet, people have got many opportunities. As I said earlier, if you say you can't, then you won't. But if you say, I think I'm going to try, there's a good chance you'll make it.
And that is a good way to wrap this program up, is to encourage people to, if they don't have the self-confidence, to seek it out through resources that are available to them. And today we're talking about State College of Florida. And Ian, I want to thank you so very much.
You're very welcome.
For coming today and sharing information that I'm sure is very valuable
Thank you
to
very much.
many.
Thank you,
Hope
Vicky.
to see you again here soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. In the words of Helen Keller, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Join pioneering baby boomers like you who are reinventing retirement and redefining success. Become part of the conversation. Broaden all of our perspectives as we rewire together, build community, and have some fun on our fantastic voyage. Contact me, Vicky Vega, at successafter60.com with your insights. Until we meet again, Ian, here's to your encore career, and here's to your back to school programs.
And here's to boomers.
Absolutely.
Thank you.